Welcome, everyone. Welcome to another exciting week. And as you know, we are bringing you an exclusive bundle packed with resources from plant based influencers, creators, chefs, and wellness advocates welcome to another exciting week. And as you to help you thrive and take control of your health. And today, my guest is Chef Julia, and I'm so excited to have her today. Chef Julia's love for cooking started early, like blending flavors from her Japanese mother's fresh home cooked meals. And I also love her inspiring story about like how through her 21-day challenge, she was actually able to take her health to the next level, like where she fully committed to whole food plant-based eating. And in just 21 days, her cholesterol dropped by 41 points. And now, actually, Chef Julia, she runs a support group where she helps people to do the same. She guides them with meal planning, smart preparation, and flavorful, healthy cooking. And I'm so excited to have her in our show today. So, welcome to Gift of Health Wellness Chats, and welcome, Julia.
Well, thank you for having me. Um, I'm a big fan of yours, and I'll share about that a little bit later. But I didn't even know you until the bundle, and I saw your contributions in the bundle, and I didn't realize I was going to be on your show. And I had already said, "Oh, I've got to read this one for sure." So thank you for your contributions.
Oh, thank you, Chef Julia. And like I was so excited to see your contribution in the bundle because sometimes people wonder, okay, what is that they can make? And so beautifully, you have put down the 21 days meal plan, like you gave the meal plans, you gave the grocery shopping list. So, like everything is at one place so that people can just grab. So, make sure to download Chef Julia's 21-day meal challenge. And also, she has another exciting contribution about plant-based cookies. So as you can see all those wonderful yummy cookies in front of her. So she is going to tell us all about it and we are so excited about it. So, Chef Julia, I know a lot of people think, okay, you're a chef, maybe like cooking is very easy for you. But what would you tell for someone who thinks that they don't have time for cooking and they don't have energy for cooking?
Well, there are so many things that you can get now that don't require a lot of preparation. You can go to a grocery store and buy already chopped up vegetables. They're all over the place now. My favorite grocery store called Central Market has a whole section of chopped up carrots, onions, bell peppers, and they're fresh. And you can buy those and saute them and make yourself a stir fry or a soup. You can buy frozen organic grains. There's so many different grains now, cauliflower rice, frozen quinoa, brown rice, anything you like, you can find it already prepared in a frozen section. So you can just easily grab those things, throw them together. You don't have to cook anything. And a lot of things can be cooked quickly. It's just a matter of learning a few simple recipes that you really like. And just the more you make something, the easier it gets. And so if you make something over and over, after a while, you don't even have to really think about it. And then that becomes like your fast food.
That is so true, Chef Julia. Like if you make the same thing over and over again, it makes it becomes so easy and you don't think about it as well. I mean, like
Mhm.
my son right now, like he is in university, he's 20 years old. And before he went to university, I wanted to make sure that he had the cooking skills. And every day I used to make him just turn on the Instant Pot button, which had oatmeal in it, and just like cook that oatmeal over and over again for 30 days straight. And now he can also do it in his sleep. I just wanted him to develop that
Mhm.
habit so that
Mhm.
even though he's busy in his university and like
Mhm.
he's doing his medical school now, so that even if he
Mhm.
thinks that he has no time and energy, like he like because that became his habit.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's really a wonderful tip that I never even thought of it before.
Mhm.
So, like, what would be your top three kitchen hacks to save time while cooking?
Well, my one of them, and I mention it in my ebook, the 7-day meal plan, is to make a simple daily salad prep ahead of time.
Uh,
So when I go to the grocery store, I know I'm always going to use the same things in my salad. I like, of course, lettuce. I always like tomatoes, cucumbers, bell peppers, red onion, and one other thing I can't remember. Anyway, I like the same things all the time in my salads. So I just buy those things
mm,
and I just, bring them home, wash them, and I'll cut them up and I'll put them either in glass containers or one big container and make
mm,
it for about 3 days. So I'll chop up cabbage, I'll chop it up, put it in this container, and then it's there. I can make salad for 4 days in a row. So that's one of my hacks. Another one is grains.
mm,
Whatever grain I'm making, whether it's quinoa, amaranth, brown rice, borrow any of the grains. I'll make a big pot of grains and I'll put them in half cup size servings in individual containers.
mm,
Sometimes I use Ziploc bags, but some people don't like plastic bags. So put them in glass mason jars,
mhm,
glass containers, stack them up in your freezer.
mhm,
And then whenever you need a meal, you've got the grains already made. You've
mhm,
got your salad vegetables. You make them every 3 or 4 days, just kind of, it becomes a routine. And then the other one is soup. So I
mhm,
love to make soups ahead of time. So I'll make a big pot. And my most popular soup, it's in this ebook, is called red lentil soup. And
mm.
it's one of the easiest soups to make because red lentils cook fast. And you
Yes.
just, saute some onions and garlic, a few other things, throw in the lentils, water. You can
Mm,
season it with a little vegetable stock if you want, cook it
mm,
for whatever, 30, 40 minutes. And there you go. You have a huge pot of delicious soup. And then
mm,
I'll take several little containers and put that soup. They have those super cubes, or you can use glass mason jars or containers. And then you just have your stack of soup in your freezer. So anytime I need a meal and I don't have time to cook, I can go to my freezer and I have 5 or 6 kinds of soup. I have
mm.
a big container of grains. And then in my refrigerator here or in my kitchen inside the house, I have always pre-chopped up salad vegetables. So there
Mm.
you go. I have always those three things ready to go.
That is so like wonderful because I like all the time that you were describing, I was like, yep, this is what I'm doing as well.
Yeah.
Because I know like our days are so busy and I always have because it's the same things that I like to put in my salad and that
Mm-hmm.
salad like I have it every day. I mean every day there's some kind of salad. So like chopping all those vegetables. I always have a cooked grain in the fridge. I always have a cooked bean in my fridge
Mm-hmm.
and always have some chopped up vegetables so that it's just easy for me to
Mm-hmm.
put the meal together.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, what is one common food myth about plant-based cooking that you wish people would stop believing?
Well, it's really strange, but people don't realize that plant-based food is something you're already eating. So, like for example, I have a bunch of friends, and none of my friends follow a plant-based diet. A lot of them are kind of carnivores, actually, and they
Uh-huh,
brag about that. They're keto, carnivore, whatever. And
uh-huh.
so, if I'm involved in something and I'm coming to an event, or like when I had things happen in my home and they wanted to bring me food, these are educated people. They told me, "Well, we don't know how to make plant-based food."
Mm,
Like it was some kind of special food. And I
uh-huh.
said, well, it's what you already eat. You eat salads, vegetables, beans, grains, nuts and seeds, fruit. All those things are plant based foods. So it's not any kind of mysterious category of food. It's the
Mm,
food we already eat. We just don't add animal products or dairy products or eggs or anything based from an animal into our food, but it's everything you already eat. And it's kind of like it's so simple, but yet people complicate it and they get real caught up in, I don't understand what vegan food is, but really it's just food that we already eat.
That is so true, Julia. And I see all those yummy cookies in front of me. So, like, are your cookies made without using any animal product, like no butter? No. So, tell us all about it.
Okay, well, I just did a live demo on my channel and on my Facebook page. So my YouTube channel has how to make the cookies. But these are oatmeal cookies, and they have just, rolled oats and some almond butter and a little coconut, some walnuts, and I did put dark chocolate in there. And then
Yeah.
to take the place of eggs and butter, I used almond butter, and I use a flax egg, and a flax egg is just ground flaxseed mixed with water, and it becomes the consistency kind of like an egg, and it gives that same kind of addition that you need in your sweets. And then it has maple syrup as the sweetener. I mean date syrup. So I use a lot of this just date syrup, or you can make your own, but I buy it. It's vegan, gluten free,
Uh-huh.
and organic. So
Mm.
you don't have to ever use anything made from sugar to bake. You can use nothing but date sugar and
Mhm.
date syrup, and dates are better for you than any other forms of sugar because they do have nutrients. They're not just an empty calorie. So
Mm.
that's how I make everything. My peanut butter cookies have peanut butter,
Mhm.
some almond flour. They're also gluten free, just accidentally oat flour, and a
Mhm.
couple. They're just very simple. They just have like 5 ingredients, but they're absolutely delicious.
Mhm.
And I had to hide them from my husband because last night I think he ate about half a dozen of them. But yeah, you can make any dessert with substituting nut
Mhm.
butters or apple butter, which could just be cooked apples,
Mhm.
flax seeds or aquafaba, the juice of chickpeas, and
Mhm.
apple sauce if you want, and flax seeds, and then use whole grain flours like oat flour, whole wheat flour, so that you're not using any refined products. And I have this whole cookbook with 27 different cookies, everything from Snickers cookies to almond cookies to peanut butter bars and whatever. I even have Italian fig cookies, which were quite popular at Christmas time. So,
Yeah, because
anybody can make these.
I saw your fig cookies, Chef Julia, and
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I should try them this week. So, oh my God, they looked so good. The fig cookies are really yummy. And let's say if people just have three ingredients in their fridge, is there something that they can put together?
Um, 3 ingredients in your fridge.
Mm-hmm.
Well, mostly all I keep in my fridge, I keep a lot of fresh produce.
Mm-hmm.
So I would make stir fry most often.
Mm-hmm.
So, what I do a lot is I make, I take the vegetables that are in my drawer, anything, and on the counter, I have onions always and garlic. And in my vegetable drawer, I always have, carrots and bell peppers and different things, any kind of vegetable. It could be eggplant, zucchini, yellow squash, and I'll just take those things out. So I consider the vegetables a lot of different things. And then I also always have tofu or beans. But since, I'm half Japanese, I love tofu a lot. And so I have right now, I think I have 7 or 8 blocks of extra firm tofu in my refrigerator because my husband gets it for me whenever he goes to the store. And then I have to say, okay, I have enough tofu for now. And all I do is you can just take the tofu out of the package and, put some paper towels on it and let it absorb some moisture first and then crumble it up, and you
Uh-huh.
can just simply season it with, you can put chopped up mushrooms in it, some onions, a little bit of nutritional yeast. You don't
Mm-hmm.
have to even put any salt. And then you can spread it out on a sheet pan
Mm-hmm.
and put it in the oven at 400 degrees for about 30 minutes. And you have this delicious mountain of tofu, and it's
Oh,
delicious. And then you serve it with your stir fried vegetables.
ah.
So that's something I can make without even thinking about it because I always have some fresh vegetables, always have onions,
Mm-hmm.
always have tofu, and
Mm-hmm.
then that's it. And then I have a delicious meal.
Oh, that sounds delicious. And when it comes to flavoring the food, what would be your tips, Julia?
I like to have a wide variety of spices. So
Mm.
I have like a whole shelf. You can kind of see in my kitchen here, that second
Wow,
shelf
look at that.
is
Yeah.
is all spices. And
Uh-huh.
so what I tell people is use a lot of different spices. Like get
Mhm,
to know, cumin, coriander, of course, garlic and onion powder,
mhm,
fennel, sage, Italian seasoning blend, 21 seasoning blend. There's so many good spices out. And
mhm,
so, and I like ethnic foods. Like I love to make Indian food or Korean food or Vietnamese food, Japanese food, Thai food. So I've learned how to make lots of different foods from different countries
mhm.
because they have a lot of flavor. They
Yeah.
use ginger, garlic, things to make a curry flavor,
Mhm,
every kind of thing you can think of. And that tastes so good to me. And I don't think a plant-based diet has to be bland and uninspiring and just, stuff out of a can. Because that was an early myth that I saw when I saw somebody doing a plant-based cooking demonstration, and they took a bunch of stuff out of cans and dumped it in a pot
mhm.
and stirred it together and said, "This is dinner." And I tried to make that and it tasted horrible. And I said, "Well, I can't be on a plant-based diet if I have to eat that." And so I had to learn how to make this food taste really good. And that's been my quest.
Yeah, I mean, plant-based diet definitely tastes much, much better and has more flavors. And especially as you said, like when you are using the spices, the food
Mhm.
tastes so good.
Mhm.
But what would you tell to people who are afraid of using spices or they think that they don't know much about spices? So if they are starting, what would you recommend?
I would say to pick up 3 or 4 spice blends because nowadays there have so many sophisticated different flavor spice blends at the grocery store. And
Yeah.
then you don't have to think about it so much. You can get something and make sure it's not that it's salt free if possible or has very low sodium content because you have to watch out. Some of them will be like a garlic pepper blend and you look and it has 250 milligrams of sodium for a fourth of a teaspoon, which is very high. So I would say get maybe 3 different spice blends to see what profile you like, and then maybe pick up just your basic spices, fresh. Don't use the ones that you've had in your cupboard for 10 years that expired 5 years ago.
Yes.
Get some fresh basic spices like the basic ones: garlic powder, onion powder, cumin, coriander, sage, fennel, and then just try a little pinch when you make something. Put in your beans. Always use garlic and onions, but maybe you can try seasoning your beans with a couple other spices and see how you like it. And then
Mm,
you start discovering what flavor profile that you really like.
mm. Yeah. Like for a woman every day, or especially for a person who is cooking every day, if you have to think, oh, what should I make for breakfast? What should I make for lunch? What should I make for
Mm-hmm.
dinner? So
Yeah.
it consumes a lot of brain energy,
Mm-hmm.
and
It
you have to
does. Yeah.
think for those 7 days.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems a lot for people. So what would your recommendation be like when it comes to meal planning? What are some of the easy ways to do it?
Well, I would say in the beginning, keep it really simple, or else you'll give up. If you try to make it complicated and make everything in my 7 day meal plan, but you don't really like to be in the kitchen or cook, or you don't have time, it's not going to be easy. So you can go through and pick things, the easiest things in there, and say, well, this week I'm just going to make a couple of things to get started.
Mhm.
For example, overnight oats is really easy to make. You just put rolled oats with plant milk in a little jar or a container and put some fruit on top. And you can make 3 or 4 at a time and eat those every morning for breakfast. Those are simple. And
Mhm.
then for lunch, my go to lunch is always like salad. Take a salad and put beans on it. And
Mhm.
then, like I said, I always have the grains so I can throw in a container of grains. And so I have salad vegetables. Canned beans are easy. Anybody can open up a can of beans, drain them and rinse them. Some beans, and then, a grain. Or you can use a frozen grain. So it's not even, you don't even have to cook it. So that could
Mhm.
be your lunch, and that could also be your dinner. A lot of
Mhm.
people eat the same thing for lunch and dinner. They just vary the type of beans, the
Mhm.
type of salad ingredients, the type of grain, and there are lots of different pre-made grains, or you can make your own and save them for several days. And then you can also buy frozen vegetables. And
Mm,
I've found a lot of really good frozen vegetables that, they peas and carrots, mixed vegetables,
mm,
cauliflower rice, cauliflower, broccoli, green beans, and they taste great.
mm,
Of course they're not as good as freshly made vegetables, but if you don't have time putting some frozen vegetables in the microwave, and yes, I cook stuff in the microwave, but you can cook them on the stove if you don't like a microwave. And just, heating those vegetables up, they taste fresh and delicious with your grain, with your beans, tofu, and raw vegetables. And you could eat that 2 times a day, every day, and never have to learn a recipe.
yes. Yeah, that is so true. And I know like today, like we cannot like go over the entire wonderful things that are in the bundle, because I know like we can take it forever.
Mhm.
But briefly, like if you have to mention like what other contributions in the bundle that you felt like really worth trying.
Yeah, I actually printed off some people's recipes because I thought I'm going to do demos. And one of them, somebody has an Italian cookbook,
Mm,
and it's plant-based Italian, and they had two things I wanted to try, but one of them was tomato soup,
yeah.
and it looked
Oh,
so good.
yum.
So I'm going to
Yeah.
make that. And she
Uh-huh.
also had zucchini soup. And
Uh-huh.
then Tim Kaufman has cashew or quinoa curry fritters,
Oh,
and that
nice.
looked delicious. So I'm going to make that.
Uh-huh.
That's on my schedule to make. And then, I mean, Kathy Hester has pizza,
Oh,
gluten
yeah.
free,
I'm
and
I'm trying her pizza today. So she has one with red lentil crust and quinoa
yeah,
crust, and they are so easy to make, like especially for
mhm,
people who are looking for gluten-free
yeah,
crust. Though like those
hmm
are amazing.
yeah. And then this is funny. One
Mm.
of my favorite books and the whole thing, and I have it starred on my paper, was Five Ways to Lower Blood Pressure Without Medication. And I have written excellent. This was before I knew I was going to be on your show. I loved your book so much. And I went and had two copies of it printed at
Uh,
Staples because my younger son, who's 39, has high blood pressure and it's not very well controlled. And that's one of my struggles, is keeping my blood pressure down, because if I stray away from plant-based eating, that low sodium version that I follow, if I go out to eat a few times, go on a trip,
mm,
go through a week where I'm not sleeping well and not walking, my
mm,
blood pressure can creep back up really easily, and
yeah.
to like 135 over 70. That's up for me. And that bothers me because I want to keep it under 120 over 70. So
Mm-hmm.
then I'll be like, oh, I need to, get back into my good routine. So it
Yeah.
had some really helpful, very, very specific and manageable hints, very easy to read and easy to follow. So I really appreciate you writing that book. It's going to save people's lives.
Oh, thank you so much. So like that book has a meal plan, because a lot of people think that, okay, how can I get the key minerals, like whether it is magnesium, calcium,
Mm-hmm.
potassium. So like how can I get the daily required amount of those minerals
Mm-hmm.
along with the protein, along with
Mm-hmm.
calcium. So like I also have a 3-day meal plan in that,
Yeah, I
like
saw
where,
that.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
people can get like in
Mm-hmm.
2000 calorie diet where they're getting more than 80 to 90 grams of protein, more
Mm-hmm.
than 1100 milligrams of calcium, and all the required amount of
Yeah.
magnesium, potassium. So that is something that people can utilize. So like I'm glad that
Mm-hmm.
that you found that useful. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So um, make sure, so we have posted Chef Julia's link here. So as we said, like this week, like we are offering this vegan health bundle. If you had to buy individually all the things that Chef Julia contributed, and all the other chefs have contributed, it would cost you more than 5,500. But guess what? You're just getting this bundle for just $49. And we have put Chef Julia's link here in the chat. Make sure you grab it to grab her wonderful cookies, plant-based cookies recipe book. And also she has the 21-day meal challenge book, which is really handy. As I said, it has everything that you need, from shopping list to from items and like how to prepare all those meals. So it's a wonderful guide to have. And you can actually download all the other wonderful, whether it's pizza or cheeses or a different type of burgers, nice cream or ice cream recipes. So the loads of recipes in there. So take advantage of that, because this bundle is going to disappear on March 10th. So then you won't have access to all this wonderful resources. So make sure you grab them. And thank you so much, Chef Julia, for your wonderful time. And oh, like in the corner, I see those muffins. Would like
Yeah.
would you
These are
tell
the
me?
sweet potato muffins.
Oh, yum.
So
They look so yum. So you have sweet potato, and what else do you have in that?
it has whole wheat flour, sweet potatoes, apple butter, a little bit of almond butter, some walnuts, organic raisins, and some flaxseed, just the usual stuff. And this was in that 3 ingredient challenge ebook where we all were given, we had to use sweet potatoes, fruit, and oatmeal and make a dessert. So that was my contribution there. And they turned out pretty good.
Yeah.
Everybody likes them.
Amazing, amazing. So Lydia is asking, hi, Chef Julia and Dr. Sheba. Hi, Lydia. Good to see you. And hopefully, like you're able to see like all the wonderful dishes here that Chef Julia has. So thank you so much, Chef Julia. And as I said, like we will be also touching base
Mhm.
again, because this is so powerful. Like when it comes to plant-based cooking,
Mhm.
it can save lives. And what you're
That's
doing
right.
is actually saving lives, because it is a very important skill to have, like cooking and like feeding our family with this wholesome meals. Like we not only save ourselves but the whole family as well, like where we are taking care of their health and everything. So
Mhm.
that's why like I am a great admirer of your work. So keep doing this wonderful things, and thank you so much.
And thank you because I love your blood pressure book so much. It's just like the best thing ever. So thank you so much.
Oh,